Remember when Rob Zombie was good?
No, I don't at all.
House of a Thousand Corpses is a cult classic horror that was genuinely shocking at the time. Let's take a look back at why it's still Rob Zombie's best film. This video was requested by channel member John Eastwood. If you wish to request what I review on the channel, please consider clicking the join button below to become a channel member. House of a Thousand Corpses is set in 1977 and follows a group of friends who stumble across a bizarre roadside attraction run by the sadistic Firefly family. As they are drawn deeper into the family's twisted world, they are captured and encounter unspeakable horrors. One of the most striking elements of this film is the visual style. Rob Zombie's background and music videos is evident in this film, and we had never seen anything like it before really. The fast-paced editing, the vibrant colours, surreal, trippy stoner imagery. The use of practical effects and unsettling real props creates a sense of reality that's really disturbing. I call the look of the film a mix between 2000s music videos and 70s and 80s horror, so it was entirely unique. The film blends horror and comedy very well. It's that uncomfortable humour where you don't know if you should be laughing or not. You're still creeped out as you're nervously chuckling away. The comedy never becomes parody because while it's funny, it never lets you off the hook with how horrible and relentless everything is. It's making a joke of terrible and brutal things, and it just works because it goes there. It's brave enough to make a joke of that sort of thing. The whole movie is essentially an unpredictable roller coaster. You never know what is going to happen from one scene to the next, and I do mean that. Anything could happen in this film, and quite frequently does. The performances are also pretty darn good. Bill Moseley is terrifying as Otis, the leader of the family.
My brain is frozen, locked. I have to break free from this culture of mechanical reproductions and the thick incrustations dying on the surface.
He really channels the kind of character Zombie was going for. Those unhinged nutcases from 70s and 80s horror that were over the top, but truly scary at the same time. He's trippy, he's creepy, he's funny, he's disgusting, and it's a combination of the performance, but also Rob Zombie's mental dialogues and set pieces and scenarios. He's great at mixing all that together and making it pop. Sid Haig as Captain Spaulding, the mental clown, absolutely munches the scenery. He's so unsettling. It's that perfect example of the bonkers vibe of this film because you can't predict one thing that comes out of his mouth.
Gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you are about to enter a world of darkness. A world where life and death are meaningless and pain is God.
I honestly find Sheri Moon Zombie infuriating in this movie. She's the biggest flaw. Literally nearly always Rob Zombie is able to make his annoying characters entertaining. Here he just can't do it because his wife is atrocious. I'm sorry to say it. It's a performance that's forced. All the other characters, they feel natural with their insanity. She feels like she's trying to be crazy. It's like Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn if she was bad. Dear God, that grating laugh was ringing in my ears long after the movie was over. Like I said, she's the biggest problem with the film. I think it's a genuinely terrible performance. There was always those movies of the 70s and the 80s such as Texas Chainsaw Massacre and those crazy Italian cinema films where characters annoyed you a little bit, but they also entertained you at the same time, whereas all she does is annoy you. There are some insane horror scenes in this. That first attack where the crazy family ambush the kids is incredibly grim. Rob Zombie really hammers home the helplessness of the situation. He's incredibly good at pushing the boundaries over and over and leaving you speechless at what's going on. Or the scene where they're lowering a victim down a well. That is truly disturbing. I honestly take my hat off to Rob Zombie for shocking me, because it might be the most evil scene I've ever seen on film. Just the idea of it, the concept of what's happening, these truly heartless and vile actions just have me absolutely stunned. You wouldn't wish this scenario on your worst enemy, so it's a scene where your heart completely goes out to the victim. House of a Thousand Corpses echoes, as I mentioned, those crazy 70s and 80s films about peril, crazy people, randomness, capture, Texas Chainsaw, Last House on the Left, the Italian horrors. You could accuse a lot of those films of just being a collection of bits and they didn't really have a proper narrative. And I will say, it's kind of true here as well. But the thing is, those films are awesome because they were like that on purpose. They were a bit underrated because they were just supposed to be crazy fever dreams. And they will forever be memorable because of that. And I think House of Thousand Corpses slots right in with them. It's a celebration of the randomness of old school horror films. The idea that horror is beyond narrative in a lot of ways. Like an actual nightmare unfolding, and nothing's going to be logical in it. It really is a film of two halves. The first half is quite fun, with references throughout, such as the awesome moment where the characters are watching the monsters on TV, legendary, and obviously all the horror memorabilia scattered around the house. But the second half caught me completely off guard because it's relentless and gripping, and things suddenly get deadly serious, with the depths of evil this family goes to just escalating further and further. I mean, wearing the face of the father of one of the victims as you torture them is traumatizing to watch. Cheers, Rob. House of a Thousand Corpses is a complete trip. It's sick, it's daring, it's striking, it's full of imagery you'll never forget. It's Rob Zombie at his best. It's Zombie showing that he could have been one of our greatest horror directors. He was ambitious here. Sadly, it seemed to go wrong not long after this film for Zombie because he started to just be predictable and show that he was a little bit of a one-trick pony. But if you're just looking at this film, this is one of the most exciting horror films of the 2000s, and it's become a cult classic for good reason. Thanks for the request, John, and as I said, if anyone wants to request what I review, click the join button below. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, and I will see you guys next time.